Welcome back, everyone, to the Quad City Chaos 2014. I'm the Derby Nerd here with Single Malt Scott. Just before this half gets underway, I want to take an opportunity to thank, of course, Layer 9 for the help, Scova Notion on the mixer today, and we also have Jesse Wilson, Wheels of Misfortune, and the Annguard on our cameras, and Francesca Flure is providing you with your text cast for this afternoon's bouts. So thank you again to all. This is a volunteer-run, of course, organization and boatcast. So thanks for tuning in and showing your support. So, the end of that half, Bruisers run a little bit of a run, picked up a power jam that is carried over into the second half. They have a 12-point lead, their biggest lead of the game so far, and Belfast is jamming it.
She's already out in front. She is the lead jammer. She's completed her initial pass, and she's looking to pick up some points now.
And Belfast, a tenacious jammer, gets by Magnum PEI at the top of that pack. As I mentioned, she also plays on the excellent Misfit Militia Roller Derby out of Alliston, Ontario, and the Death Track Dolls in Toronto Roller Derby's House League. So this is a skater who plays a lot of roller derby.
Montreal's got all four blockers out now. That Gunwall Mindy has finished her penalty.
And Misery May and Chronic doing a nice job of attempting to trap Gunwall Mindy, which is no easy task. And that jam comes to its conclusion as Belfast sees the jammer stand up. Power start now for Toronto, 127 to 105. Honey Boom Boom standing along with Justin Powers, the jammer for the Sexpos. I'm going to have a feeling that no lead is safe in this game. So far, no lead has been.
Yeah, Montreal came out a little bit stronger, picked up a bunch of points, stretched that lead out, but Toronto was able to chip away at it, and
now they've stretched it out. Sexpos led by as much as 30. The just over 20-point lead now for the Bruisers. So these teams showing that they are every bit as equal as their A-team counterparts. Lexicon breaks through. She's your lead jammer. An important pickup for the Bruisers as they try to maintain a lead here. All four blockers back on the track. 4-3 pack advantage for the Bruisers as Lexicon comes in to score.
Yeah, Wonder Brat just sent to the penalty box for Montreal.
Oh, nice defense. At the back, Jess is going to come in and try and open up an inside lane. She cannot do it. Claire O'Key. Oh, Claire O'Key and Trash and Smash working well to get the cut on Lexicon.
It is a power jam now for Montreal. Justin Powers on her scoring pass.
Another thing we saw last night were the Skids and CN Power trading power jams, which is what the Bruisers and Sexpos have been doing this game as well. But nice with Trash and Smash being sent off with another back block call.
And Justin Powers completes her first scoring pass for 5 points.
Good defense from the Bruisers. All four of them are on the track. Android WK is your pivot. Just Jess at the back of the pack. Tushy Galore trying to hold the inside. Honey Boom Boom holding the outside. Now Tushy just gets her out of bounds, and that's going to force her back.
So this will be one of the younger lineups of skaters you'll see from Montreal. Justin Powers jamming, Claire O'Key and Swing Like Bacchus blocking out there, and as star pass happens, Swing La Bacchus now wearing the star for the Sexpos.
Running into Just Jess, Tushy Galore, some nice defense, finally able to push her way through. Another 5 points on the board, so once again, Toronto had built a little bit of the lead, but Montreal is chipping away at it. Lexicon back on the track. One to beat at turn number 2. Can she get around on the outside? She cannot. And that jam comes to its conclusion. That jam was brought to you by Jack in the Socks. It doesn't matter whether your socks match or not. At Jack in the Socks, their mission is to banish plain, boring socks from sock drawers everywhere. I only own plain, boring socks. I definitely need to take a trip to Jack in the Socks. And you can actually buy online, too, at jackinthesocks.ca.
Again, some amazing socks they have in that booth.
That Larry Bird three-pointer socks you were telling me about. Excellent.
I also saw a pair of socks online last night. Utah Jazz. Karl Malone on one sock, John Stockton on the other.
Nice. In the roller derby action, Hot Cross Guns is your jammer for the Sexpos, and she is facing off against a 3-wall at the front of the pack. Chevy Chaser having some troubles at the back of the pack with some heavy Sexpos defense, and it is Sexpos jammer with lead jammer status. Chevy Chaser does get out, trying to stay on her feet, and she might be swallowed back up by this pack. Nice heads-up play. But Chevy does get through. Sneaky Devil, nice heads-up play to catch Chevy Chaser, who'd fallen.
Montreal picks up 3 points on that one. Slowly chipping away at the lead, now cut to 8 points.
130 to 122. Bethrav jamming against Sneaky D. Both of these jammers have picked up back blocking penalties in the first half. They're both pretty aggressive jammers.
Yeah, Bethrav is the type of jammer that really likes to walk her way through the pack. Doesn't want to really go side to side.
Yeah, and she doesn't really need to. Phenomenal skater, also incredibly powerful. Sneaky D also electing to go right through the middle. She is a little bit more of a jukey skater. She loves to work in, out, inside and out. Lady J getting a shoulder up.
Bethrav makes her way through. She's the lead jammer for Montreal.
Sneaky D, though, hot on her tail about 40, 50 feet back and making up a lot of track with every stride. Bethrav coming in to score. Pushes through on the inside just as Sneaky D comes in, and Sneaky D steals 3 points, 3-3 jam. That is the strength of Sneaky D. She is so fast, and she can sneak up without anyone seeing and nab points. Tilu didn't like the call, though. She's asking for an extra point. Four-3 pack advantage. Oh, sorry. Yes, 4-3 pack advantage. Swing Lebakais out to jam for the Sexpos against Belfast for the Bruisers.
Swing Lebakais cuts through very quickly but gets knocked down.
Misery May with a big hit. Robert Blind and Machu Picchu getting a little wrapped up at the front of the pack, though, and that allows her through.
Sneaky Devil sent to the penalty box.
Belfast almost through. Oh, and it looked like there's going to be a little jammer-on-jammer action, but Sexpos electing to call that one off.
The lead is now 3 points for the Bay Street Bruisers.
Wow, I have a feeling it's going to be one of those games that comes down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. Right now, both packs depleted. It's 2-2. There you see the full penalty boxes. Pivot for the Sexpos in the box. So 2-2. Hot Cross Guns and Lexicon. Gummo Mindy goes down. That may be an opportunity for Lexicon to get through, but a nice hit from Lady J, the experienced blocker.
Hot Cross Guns out in front. She is the lead jammer. She's got about a quarter track lead. Both jammers having completed their initial passes.
Oh, and a nice hit from Android WK. Forces the call off just as Lexicon approaches the scoring pass. No points on the board for either.
3 points.
3 points, sorry.
Picked up for Hot Cross Guns. It is a tie game again.
She did pass one skater, picked up 2 for the box points. And now we have a tie. Unbelievable. So we've seen
38 minutes have gone by so far, and it's a whole new game, just starting over.
0-0. We've seen the Sexpos have a 30-point lead that they lost. We just saw the Bruisers have a 23-point lead that they've lost. Unbelievable play from both of these teams. Nice hit from Chronic, forcing the jammer back. Chevy Chaser trying to work the front of that pack. Nice defense, though, from both of these micro packs, but it is going to be the Sexpos once again getting lead jam, but Chevy Chaser again also out. Justin Powers takes a look at her bench. Gets some notification. Chevy Chaser making up some track as they approach on their scoring passes on the second straightaway. Went through, called it off. There's going to be some discussion with the outside pack ref on whether or not any points were picked up by the Sexpos jammer as she was calling it off. Looked to me like she straddled the line, never was fully in. Yeah, and no points being awarded.
That tie is still standing.
All of the blockers now standing, though, so at some point, hopefully in this jam, we will see 5-on-5 roller derby.
Alcatraz and Wonderbrats, the two blockers out there for Montreal. Probably the smallest lineup they've put out.
Sneaky D trying to come back in behind the blocker, even though she went down, so that she wouldn't negate her ability to get lead jammer status. Let's see if she did that. She did. So smart heads-up play by the B-team jammer to make sure she was still eligible to be lead jammer.
Sneaky Devil. Swing Lebakais has also completed her initial pass. She's about quarter track back of the pack.
Sneaky D comes in, gets a few points, calls it off.
And the lead goes back to Toronto.
2 points picked up. 135 to 133. 10 minutes into the second half.
There we get a look at the Sugar Bomb penalty box.
Nice. Sugarbomb.ca, that is Android WK, the Bruisers pivot in the Sugar Bomb penalty box.
Hot cross guns on the line for Montreal.
And that is Lexicon, number 25 in the blue for the Bay Street Bruisers.
She started a few steps back off the line. Hot cross guns out in front. She is the lead jammer.
Lexicon having a hard time. Nice little offensive pop by Misery May. Briefly open up a line, but again, this line led by the experienced Lady J, doing a great job to get back to the front of that pack.
4 points picked up by Hot Cross Guns. She's in a foot race.
Oh, and Hot Cross Guns sneaking around. And what is the scoring going to be on this one? 1 point picked up for the Bruisers and 5 picked up.
You know, I don't get it.
How did you get 5 points in?
She had managed to lap
Okay.
the jammer just
Right,
on
just
that
on that
foot
one,
race.
okay. Like to
And a little risky though. Like why wait until you entered the engagement zone to call it off?
Yeah, true. Why not? Yeah, if you're just going to call it off before you hit the pack. Good point.
So a lead change on that last jam. Montreal now back on top, 142 to 136.
I'd like to do a quick shout out to our sound man, Clemson. He couldn't be here this afternoon. He will be back eventually, but he's our excellent longtime sound man here in Toronto Roller Derby, and I know that he is watching. So hey to you. All right, underway here. Another pickup for the Sexpos. Momentum is heading in the Sexpos direction right now.
Ohio is the lead jammer. Creeping up on the engagement zone.
Finally, Belfast able to make her way through. But Ohio taking a look, looking at the bench. Tilu is, again, going to let her keep going. They both come into the pack. Ohio and Jess collapsing at the back, the big hits.
Giving up 2 more points to Toronto. I spoke a little bit with some of the skaters at halftime, asking them about that strategy, and they understand that it's high risk, high reward, looking to try to force the other team's jammer to make a mistake, tire them out, really intentionally hoping to pick up a power jam.
Yeah. And, you know, I do see that, I've seen it work too for the Sexpos, especially when they have a big lead, but in situations like this where it's so tight, I just wonder if that risk is where it could come down to 2 points. That 2 point steal there could make a difference in a game that is this close. Official review has been called, I believe, by Toronto. It hasn't been indicated on the board yet, but Flying Brian was the first skater into the center of the track, and an official review is called, so I'm going to assume it's going to the Bruisers. I didn't see. Yeah.
Oh, no, go.
I didn't see anything that would warrant an official review, but
not 100% sure. We'll get word to you as soon as we can. We're going to take this opportunity to talk about another one of our sponsors here, Inspiration Vintage. Before you get your knickers in a knot, come on over to the Inspiration Vintage booth for some fun. If you're coming in, you can come to the booth. Otherwise, if you're watching at home, you can be sure to check them out at inspirationvintage.ca.
You know, and while we're at it, why don't we thank rollerskating.ca too? Trusted national online provider since 2005. The local skate shop in Woodstock, Ontario sells and services all majors, roller skates, and derby brands, and offers over 30 years of real-world quad skating experience.
Yeah, check them out online.
Yeah, rollerskating.ca.
Just really open a new tab. There's no reason to stop listening to us to go to that website.
That's right. During these timeouts, there's nothing to see here.
We have the technology. We live in the future.
The future is now. So if you're just tuning into the Quad City Chaos, shame on you, because you missed an amazing day of roller derby yesterday that concluded with a 17-point victory for Montreal's new Skids on the block over CN Power, 233 to 216. If you're watching this game because you're a B-team fan, well, yesterday's B-team showdown was between Ohio's Gangrene and the Bay Street Bruisers. The Bruisers took that one 304 to 94. And this is our second of 2 regulation B-team games at the Quad City Chaos. It's become a nice staple of this event, just beginning last year. And this, of course, is the first fully sanctioned WFTDA D1 tournament. We'll have 2 sanctioned games coming up after this. 1 o'clock, you will tune in and you will see the Montreal New Skids on the Block versus the Bleeding Heartland Flatliners. Bleeding Heartland had a rough opening day of QCC 2014, so they'll be looking to bounce back in what will be a challenging bout for them against Montreal. And then our final game of this year's Quad City Chaos will be the hosts, CN Power, continuing what has been a very fascinating rivalry against the Ohio Roller Girls out of Columbus.
Yeah, CN Power coming into this weekend was ranked 29th.
Yep.
Ohio was ranked 22nd.
Yep. I have a feeling there's going to be some shifting.
Just from the events of this weekend already that have transpired, there's going to be some shifting. So a key game in Division I top 40 play to round out this weekend.
That'll be an interesting one. 45 points was the difference between those 2 teams here last year for Ohio. See if Toronto can get their revenge.
And the action's back on the track right now. The pack is not moving at all.
Just getting an update from Bonesy Adams. He is our announcer ref. There was an official review about a jammer penalty to the Sexpos, and the review was actually accepted, and the penalty was given. However, Chevy Chaser just picked up a penalty of her own, so we're going to negate those power jams and just get back to roller derby.
Yeah, that frees up Ohio out of the box, but Chevy Chaser's not going to be sitting there for very long.
No.
Ohio makes it through. She's the lead jammer.
Chevy Chaser, though, is skating. Ohio coming up on her scoring pass. Chevy Chaser yet to get through in an initial pass, so she will need to do that before she can score. Ohio gets through on the outside, picks up the points, calls it off. 5-point pickup.
13 points now the difference. Montreal on top of Toronto. Montreal has yet to use any of its timeouts, still has their official review. Toronto has used their official review and used one of their timeouts with 16 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in this bout.
So a little bit of a lead now opening up. 13 points for the Sexpos once again. We've seen both these teams build leads and lose them, though, so don't go anywhere yet. Sneaky D with a nice little 1-foot move around turn number 1 to pick up a lead, and that's the first lead in a few jams for the Bruisers as they try to get back into this game. Honey Boom Boom with a nice little hip hit, but couldn't quite push out the strong Sexpos jammer, Justin Powers. Sneaky D picking up points. Justin Powers quickly approaching the pack. Sneaky D calls it off. Did she do it in time? She did. And picked up 3 points.
Belfast and Hot Cross Guns grab the stars and line up at the jam line.
3-3 in the pack. Sorry, that is a 4-3 pack advantage for the Bay Street Bruisers. Joss Whelan hidden away there on the inside of the line. It's Misery May outside in front of Swing Labakais. Both jammers trying to get through that back wall. Hot Cross Guns get through first. Belfast with a nice little juke to get by the wall. Gunwall Mindy, though, holding that inside, and lead jammer goes to Hot Cross Guns. Nice hit from Misery May opens up the line for Belfast, who is also through but has a half a track to make up as Hot Cross Guns come in on her scoring pass. Breaks through, takes a hit, calls it off. Did she? She did call it off just in time.
Picks up 4 points now. The lead is 14. Again, back and forth.
Back and forth, and that is a tenuous 14-point lead at the halfway point of this game. That's Ohio back on the line against Lexicon. Bethrav is your pivot for the Sexpos. 5-on-5 roller derby as the penalty box, the Sugar Bomb penalty box is empty. Lexicon being held at the back, Ohio getting up to that front wall. Both teams electing to play all D. Chronic trying to knock Ohio out of bounds. Ohio, nice strength to stay in bounds and finally pushes through. Android WK and picks up another lead jammer, but right on her tail is Lexicon. Both jammers just powering through those strong defensive walls. Oh, and Ohio able to tiptoe around the corner, and whoa, 4-1, excuse me. Big steal for Lexicon. Brian back in the middle. He's been in the middle a lot of this game so far. He's going to have to watch it as this jam is about to get started. And Justin Powers, who's really been jamming more and more as this game has gone on against Chevy Chaser. Montreal getting that favorable setup at the back. Oh, Chevy Chaser with a nice little move to break through that wall, and lead jammer goes to the Bruisers as Chronic knocks Justin Powers out of bounds, and Misery May drags her back. Big opportunity here for the Bruisers. Chronic once again working on the lines.
Chevy Chaser's already lapped the Montreal jammer.
However, the Montreal jammer does get through. And Chevy Chaser calls it off as she gets knocked to the inside, but it's going to be another 4-point pickup for the Bruisers.
Unable to clear Wonderbrat, but picked up that 4th point for having lapped Justin Powers earlier in the jam.
Hot Cross Guns, number 9 out there against number 21, Sneaky D. This is a great matchup. Two very similar styled jammers. Sexpos have been owning that the 1234 skate line this half, been able to get there and set up that strong defensive wall at the back. And that does allow Hot Cross Guns to break through to the front. Sneaky D now at a disadvantage behind Russian Cruelette, Beth Rav, and Trash and Smash. Swing Lebakais opens up the inside. A nice move by the pivot to allow her through, but Sneaky D also through. And we've seen, this may be the only jammer that Sneaky D will not be able to catch. Cross Guns runs into Just at the back of that pack, and Sneaky D able to sneak in. Oh, and a big hit from Android WK. And that allows Sneaky D to get through and pick up all 4 points. Oh, and 1 foot. Hot Cross Guns staying on her feet. Also picks up
getting
4.
waved on.
It's 4-4 right now, but Sneaky D is already back in the pack and picking up points. And she's through.
I gotta question that strategy. Those points could have been prevented.
Again, high risk, high reward. Although the rewards are not evident here, as all of a sudden Sneaky D now is coming around and finally forces that off. It's going to be an 8-4 jam for the Bruisers.
Yeah, again, I gotta question Montreal's strategy there. They could have prevented those last 4 points and kept a 7-point lead, but they waved their jammer on, and now the lead is cut to 3.
That's right.
Strange.
It has worked sometimes, but I guess that's the risk you take. Belfast now out there against Ohio. Sexpos really tightening up their jammer rotation this half. Bruisers sticking with the game plan. And Ohio having a lot of success here, especially in the second half. Belfast able to absorb a hit from, I thought that was Lady J, but it's not. Both jammers through. Ohio getting knocked to the inside, decides to call it off. Nice defense from Machu Picchu, and nothing on the board for either jammer there. 3 points.
3 points, 10.5 minutes.
This could be a big difference in this game, too. 2 blockers for the Bruisers in the penalty box. Montreal has been very, very strong when they have the pack advantage. When they did chip away, had a big 15-point jam early in this half. It was not a power jam. It was just a big pack advantage that they were able to work.
Justin Powers cycles around, takes the outside of turn number 1, and gets the lead jammer.
And Lexicon knocked to the inside. She's going to get dragged all the way back of the first straightaway. So once again, we are seeing this big pack advantage acting somewhat like a power jam for the Sexpos.
Justin Powers able to lap the pack and pick up a grand slam.
And Lexicon having no luck at all getting through that tough defensive wall.
Russian Cruelette, Wonderbrat, Gunmall Mindy.
Wow, Gunmole Mindy went in. Oh, and Russian Cruelette with a high hit on Lexicon is going to send her to the box.
Clockwise penalty there.
The penalty parade continues now. The Sexpos, though, running into some penalty trouble as Lexicon gets out. Android WK with some nice defense on Justin Powers, but boy, the damage was done. And again, that massive pack advantage working to the Sexpos' favor. Suddenly the lead is 13 points again. 17 points after that adjustment.
Good 14 points picked up there by Justin Powers.
And now let's see if Toronto can use the pack advantage to their advantage here. There are 2 Sexpos in the box.
Trash and Smash and Beth have lined up right on the pivot line.
Oh, a big hit from Machu Picchu right off the start, off the 1234 jam line.
Oh, Beth Have just ran right into a hit. Had her head facing the wrong way. Hot Cross Guns makes her way through. She's the lead jammer.
Both jammers got recycled there quite a bit. Chronic heading to the penalty box now for the Bruisers. Hot Cross Guns coming up on her scoring pass. Sneaky D sneaking around too, and she's going to pick up points as well. Once again, we're seeing. And Sneaky D actually able to lap Hot Cross Guns. She will pick up. Well, no. White 4 points picked up for.
Lead is unchanged. It's
lead
still
is unchanged.
17
Yeah,
points.
4-4. Okay. And now we have 2 and 2 in the box, so it'll be 2-2 on the start. Sneaky Devil always the lone blocker to start, as there is a skater standing in the Montreal box, so it's going to be a 2-1 brief pack advantage. And Belfast is able to break through on the inside. Swing La Baccaille is being held nicely by 737 Android WK.
Swing La Baccaille sent to the penalty box for a forearm. It's a power jam for Belfast.
And with no blockers on the track, this is very timely, and Belfast is probably the exact jammer they would want. She is the most experienced jammer here on the Bay Street Bruisers. 3rd year with the B team.
She makes her way past Russian Croulette and Sneaky Devil. Wonderbrat comes out of the penalty box to rejoin her Montreal teammates at the front of the pack.
So they will have a pack advantage on the defense here. Working well as Belfast gets momentum, pushes her way to the outside. And now she is pushing this wall. They're within 7 points. Nice little inside sweep to open up the line, and Belfast gets through and picks up 5 more points. We've got ourselves a 2-point game, 6.5 to go. Full packs for each team now. Misery Man went to fake a block. It did shift the jammers just enough. Belfast has a little bit of a hole. Trying to pull it as the blockers go out of play. Las Vegas
with another
big hit.
Another big hit.
She's had a few big hip checks this game. Timeout being called now by the Sexpos to stem this flow as Toronto picks up the momentum.
Yeah, 15 points scored by Toronto on that last jam. Cuts the lead to just 2.
Oh, there it is. The points just being adjusted, put onto the board. The jam ref went in to confirm, and we have
a tie break.
Wonderful.
6 minutes left on the clock. More points being added for Toronto now.
Oh, yes, never mind. A lead change. Toronto back into the lead. And there's still lots of time. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few more. This lead change is not brought to you by Nerd Roller Skates Incorporated. I just realized I kept on pushing Nerd Roller Skates. I have absolutely nothing to do with Nerd Roller Skates. I'd like to make that clear. They're based in Calgary, but they are running a little bit of a contest. If you send a tweet to @NerdSkates this weekend with the hashtag QuadCityChaos, they'll enter you in a draw to win a $50 gift card. Nerd Roller Skates is based out of Calgary, but you can see them online at nerdskates.com. That timeout was brought to you by Jackson Skates. Whew. 6 minutes, Scott. The second B team matchup of the weekend.
Again, a significant bout, a bout of pride. Teams that really, really want to win and have been in great competition. I'm super excited again. I've enjoyed watching these two teams skate, and you can see them being products of their respective systems.
Yep.
We're in Montreal and in Toronto.
This allows us a glimpse of the future of the top level A teams of Toronto Roller Derby. 4 points picked up for Ohio, and no risk taken here by the Sexpos with the packs all evened up. She's going to call it off. Lead change, 182 to 180 now for Montreal.
2-point lead just flips to Montreal.
And 1 blocker in the box. That is the pivot. Justin Powers?
Wonderbrat.
Wonderbrat. Thank you. Again, Montreal, though, does have that black line. Claire O'Key, Beth Rev, and Gunmole Mindy, an imposing defensive wall. A nice, my favorite jammer matchup of this game so far. Hot Cross Guns and Sneaky D.
Everyone goes tumbling.
Oh, and Gunmole Mindy, slow to get up. They went chest to chest with Sneaky D.
Gunmole Mindy is skating in her first bout with the Sexpos since coming back from a broken leg. Surgery, steel implants.
Wow, a late cutting call on Hot Cross Guns. Sneaky D had already picked up lead jammer, so this jam is now in Toronto's control with only 4.5 minutes to go, and they've just retaken the lead. But it is nice to see Gunmole Mindy back, especially for fans of who were so familiar with her playing in Tri-City here in Southern Ontario. She did work the bench for the Sexpos last year.
Yep. So not even her first appearance in Quad City Chaos. She had been here with Tri-City before.
Yep, that's right.
Back at the hangar.
That's right, skating with the Thunder. And Sneaky D picking up a lot of points. Toronto has built a slight 8-point lead here now with 4 minutes to go, but great defense. Clara O'Key last line at the front of that pack, and Sneaky D stays in bounds, though, gets around, and out of play call on Clara O'Key, and that gives the pack advantage now to the Bruisers. Huge moment in this game. We did talk about it, Scott, how it may come down to mistakes being made, and was this the fatal error? Gunmole Mindy unhappy about something. She is also being sent to the penalty box. That will continue the pack advantage for Toronto.
That leaves. Montreal's got to pay attention to their penalty box. They've got too many skaters on the track right now.
Yep, they
and
do.
They see that. They wave off Sneaky Devil.
Lady J and Trash and Smash, though, the two most experienced skaters on the Sexpos, are out there in this very high-pressure situation. Lexicon jamming for the Bruisers. They've got a full pack.
Probably the two most experienced skaters on the track.
Yes, in the game.
In the game. Hundreds of games between just the two of them of experience.
And Hot Cross Guns is back, but having no luck getting by. Strong defense from Chronic and Machu Picchu. Bruisers coming up with a strong defensive performance here late in the game. Nice work by Guns, though, to juke and jive her way through, and she is out. Lexicon just evades a big hit. Lady J, though, getting in on the action as well, but Lexicon stays up, gets through, calls it off. 4 more points for the Bruisers. 18 points now is the difference. Sorry, 22 points. This ties their largest lead of the game.
A timeout is called by the Bay Street Bruisers.
I think that's the Montreal Sexpos on the board.
Taking a look at the officials to see where they're pointing. Timeout, Bay Street.
It is Bay Street, yes. All right. Our scoreboard's just a little slow to get caught up with that. Both teams talking. Wow, 22 points now is the difference. As we say, the Sexpos did have a 30-point lead at one point in the first half. This equals the 22-point lead that the Bruisers had earlier in this half. But a penalty coming at an opportune moment.
The way that this game has gone, even with only 2.5 minutes left, is 22 points enough?
Yeah.
Toronto has to be aware of that, and they've got to not rest on their laurels.
No lead has proven to be enough so far in this game.
Non, ça continue. C'est Ohio pour Montréal. Sur la ligne contre Belfast pour Toronto. Sneaky Devil et Magnum PI, les seuls bloqueurs pour Montréal.
Pivot is Android WK for the Bruisers, along with Just Jesh and Tushy Galore. And Belfast out there to jam for the Bruisers. Ohio outside, Belfast in. Belfast now working Magnum PI in the 2-all on the inside. Oh, and falls. That's going to allow Ohio to take an outside lane. Belfast, though, is your lead jammer. Last hit from Android WK may have just saved that jam. And Ohio now gets the power jam as Lexicon heads to the penalty box on a low block call. Oh, and Ohio goes hot into that pack, and she's going to the penalty box. Oh. Both, no power jams here. They will both be negated.
Ohio was just given an insubordination penalty.
Oh, wow.
And that's got to be it right there. There's no coming back. There's not enough time in this game.
Was it something said? Did she say something to the ref? Wow. She's been so calm and collected all game, Ohio. A huge error with a minute. That's gonna do it. The Sexpos will, unless there's another error from Toronto Jammer, and that's gonna do it. Because the rest of this game, the Sexpos will be without a jammer.
Gunmal Mindy called for a low block, and frustration starting to boil over on the track there.
Yeah. Wow, Belfast could just take it easy here if she wants, but I don't think Belfast knows how to do that. She can't help but struggle and fight. But really, the Bruisers could just skate this out.
At this point, she really should just cruise out there.
Well, Scott, we talked about it early on. We said who's going to make the final error, and the final error today goes to the Sexpos, and that's going to allow the Bay Street Bruisers to pick up a big win here.
Again, really drawing the parallel to the game that happened yesterday where the Montreal Jammer picked up a penalty and an insubordination for an extra minute when Greta Bobo did at the end of the game. And in this case, the penalty is too much to overcome.
It is. And in the case, too, last night with the Skids, they actually had the lead. So it was just a matter of hanging on. Whereas tonight, the Bruisers had the lead when the Sexpos made the error. So they didn't have the same privilege of just holding on to their lead.
Montreal has a jammer out at the jam line right now.
I did see, it seemed quick that she came out at the end of that, very end of that jam. Ohio came out of the box. An official review is being called. And
that gives us a chance to talk about one of our sponsors. Sponsor I haven't mentioned for a little while, Pivot Star. CN Power would like to give a big thank you to Pivot Star for those awesome jerseys. Pivot Star makes uniforms simple. No minimums, no wait times, no problems. High quality athletic jerseys that keep your focus on the game. Check them out at pivotstar.com. Also, my favorite hoodies in all of roller derby come from Pivot Star. Got the stars on the side of the hood. I was like, that is so clever, and someone else thought of it. And you would think it would be so obvious, but no. Pivot Star hoodies, I love them.
That's Lulu Demon. She's a great skater. She's a great mind. She makes great clothes. Also like to thank Rumbling Rage Derby Shop. Rumbling Rage Derby Shop is a Canadian roller derby-owned company based in Barrie, Ontario. Their mission is to provide you with accessible, high-quality products to play roller derby. RumblingRage.com. Thanks to them. They're a big supporter here of the QCC and of roller derby in general. So the refs are conferring here. What a day it's been. As we said, we've got another game coming up for you at 1 p.m. Montreal's new Skids on the block against Bleeding Heartland's Flatliners. And then the tournament will conclude with Ohio's All-Stars taking on Toronto's CN Power. What a game it's been.
Penalty is definitely the downfall of the Sexpos. Taking a look at that whiteboard right now, and there's a lot of writing on the white side.
That's it, yeah. Definitely the penalties in favor of blue. All things being equal, the Sexpos seem to dominate for bigger portions of this game. But again, you can see the clean, comparatively clean play of the Bruisers maybe or will be the difference in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bay Street Bruisers capitalizing on the opportunities there, and that's what you got to do to be a winner and be competitive and pick up those.
When opportunity presents itself, grab it.
Yep.
There are your in-house announcers, Bill Murray and, of course, Plastic Patrick. Both been with us all weekend. See, Joey...
Kind of opposite ends of the style spectrum there between Bill Murray and Plastic Patrick.
Just a little bit of an update there from Bonesy Adams, our ref official. He is telling us that there was an official review. They wanted a cut on the Blue Jammer on Belfast, a second cut on that last jam, but the call stands. And that's why we have this set up, Sneaky D and Hot Cross Guns, for what will be the final jam of this game.
27 seconds left on the bout clock. Unless something very crazy happens to restart this jam, it'll be it.
And Sneaky D does get through and get lead, so the game is now in the hands of the Bay Street Bruisers. Hot Cross Guns is right on her tail. 7 seconds left. The bench.
Looking up at the clock.
Yep. And Sneaky D calls it off just as time concludes on the game clock, and that will be it, we believe.
Yeah, looking at the unofficial final, the score is the Toronto's Bay Street Bruisers 212 points, Les Sexpos de Montreal 185.
Very impressive. Toronto and Montreal came in here with two teams. The main event, of course, last night, and what was a phenomenal display of roller derby. The Skids come out on top, take the A-team game, but for the second straight game in a row, and the second time in the last 8 months, it's the Bay Street Bruisers able to pull it off over the Sexpos.
Yep. And it's like looking into the future of Canadian roller derby watching this bout, and how much improved Toronto roller derby as an organization has become. Yep. Really encouraging, really exciting, and cannot wait for this rivalry to continue in the future.
Yeah, and I think this sport is only as good as its best team, and we've been lucky for so many years to have Montreal really lighting the way and providing such a world-class level organization, playing an extraordinarily high level of derby that has forced organizations like Toronto, like Terminal City, like Rideau Valley, like Tri-City to do something to get up to that level. So Montreal has really brought the rest of the country to this elite level of roller derby.
It makes for great roller derby. It's fun to watch. And where we're at right now, it doesn't get better than this. So
it does not.
Yeah.
And on that note, Scott, we're going to conclude this game. But again, come back very shortly. We've got about 30 minutes to our next game at 1 p.m. Montreal Roller Derby's new Skids on the block against Bleeding Heartland's Flatliners. For Single Malt Scott and the Tour TV crew, I'm the Derby Nerd. Thanks for watching, and stick with us all afternoon.